Hey there, classic rock lovers, and welcome to Classic Reviews, where we review classic rock albums. And today we have an exciting treat for you. So get ready for an epic CD review that will hopefully leave you craving to listen to this band. The CDs we will be reviewing will be two greatest hit CDs by the American rock band, the Foo Fighters. So before I talk about the CDs, I think we have to give the founder of the band, Dave Grohl, some credit. First of all, he has to be one of the coolest and most down to earth guys ever. When he's performing with the Foo Fighters, you can tell he's having loads of fun, and like David Lee Roth, doesn't take himself too seriously. Also, when the Foo Fighters are playing one of their concerts, Dave Grohl has invited a whole range of guests to join him on stage. And when he's not doing cool and great stuff with the Foo Fighters, he's doing other cool and down to earth stuff, like doing barbecues for the emergency services and the homeless, or doing drum battles with one of the characters from the Muppets. Not to mention the drum battles and writing a song for the young English girl Nandy Bushell. Another thing you have to give Dave Grohl credit for is how he's reinvented himself and made a name for himself in his own right. He started out as the drummer in Nirvana, who are not only a big band from the early 90s, but a band that completely changed music forever. And Dave Grohl was the drummer in that band, not the main man like Kurt Cobain was. Kurt Cobain, as we all know, passes away and joins the 27 Club, and Dave Grohl is basically left to start over. Whereas most people would have just joined another band as their drummer, and he was offered the gig with Tom Petty, Dave Grohl instead takes the big step away from the drum kit and becomes a guitarist and singer-songwriter to front his own band, which, like Nirvana, has gone on to become this highly successful band. So the first of these two greatest hits CD came out in November 2009. I do really like the front and don't know how we can see that, the front and back covers. It has a silver metal type background like what you'd see on an old American aircraft. And it's the same thing with the back cover with the bombs that are crossed out to represent the track list. So I'm gonna start by talking about the songs that are just on this CD. The first song we're gonna talk about is called Breakout. This song is from the album called There Is Nothing Left to Lose, which came out in November 1999. And the song was also featured in the film Me, Myself and Irene. Both the film and this song deal with themes of someone losing the plot, really. Whereas the comedy film is about a guy who suffers a psychotic breakdown and gains a second personality, this up-tempo rock song seems to be more about acne blemishes and insecurities. I'll also say that this song got to number 29 in the UK Top 40 in the year 2000. The second song we're going to talk about is called Skin and Bones. This song is the title track of a live acoustic album the Foo Fighters did that came out in November 2006. So this song is an acoustic song that does have a country feel to it that gets a bit heavy at the end. There isn't really much I can think of to say about this song really, apart from the fact that it's made a couple of previous appearances. Skin and Bones was released as a B-side on the single called DOA, and on the Best Buy EP called 5 Songs and a Cover, both of which came out in 2005. The next song I'm going to talk about is simply called Wheels. This is one of the songs that was recorded for this very compilation, and it got to number 22 in the UK charts in 2009. The song sounds like something you'd hear from American bands like Weezer or The Fray, and the song talks metaphorically about a relationship. And when I say metaphorically, what I mean by that with this song is that it uses a rough plane ride as a metaphor for a relationship. The song talks about a tough flight where people are suffering from anxiety and just want to touch down and get off. Of course, once they touch down and get off, that's when things became better for them. The next song is called Word Forward. This is another song that the band wrote for this very CD, and the song title is a clever play on words. While the song may not be the best song in Foo Fighters' catalogue, it certainly has a powerful meaning to it, as the song was inspired by a childhood friend of Dave Grohl who had recently passed away at the time. So the song's about moving on from that really and moving on from his youth. Before I move on to talking about more songs, I'm just going to say that both the songs Wheels and Word Forward were produced by Butch Vig, who had previously produced Nirvana's Nevermind album. And there are a couple of different editions of this greatest hits CD that either have the band's Pink Floyd cover of the song Have a Cigar or the band covering Band of a Run by Wings. So now I'm going to talk about the Essential Foo Fighters that came out in October 2022. And as you can see, both the inside, both the inside and outside covers feature pictures of the band. I'm going to do a full track by track of this CD. Some songs are on both greatest hit CDs, while other songs on here are just on this CD. The first song on this CD is simply called Everlong. This song was written by Dave Grohl himself, and at the time of writing this song, he was divorcing his first wife and spent the 1996 Christmas in a sleeping bag on his friend's floor. Not to mention things within the band were not great. Bearing in mind Dave Grohl was at a very low point in his life, the lyrics of this song were inspired by his relationship with Louise Post, who was in the band Veruca Salt. Louise Post is actually featured in this song as a backing vocalist, and I think she actually done her parts over the phone. The song Everlong was one of the Foo Fighters' first big hits, and has since gone on to become one of their signature songs and probably most performed song. And it's certainly one of my favourite Foo Fighter songs. Both the guitars and bass are in drop D tuning, and the bass parts are mostly roots and no fills. The vocals are double tracked for most of the song and are quite breathy and intense. The drums of this song were performed by Dave Grohl himself, as it was recorded just before Taylor Hawkins joined the band, and there are some great drum fills throughout this song. Last thing and technical thing I'll say about this song is that I think it was recorded with a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, and it got to number 18 in the UK charts in 1997. The second song on this CD is called Making a Fire. This is one of the newest songs on this CD, and it's from the Medicine at Midnight album that came out in February 2021. I think this rather poppy song is about being afraid of and needing to be shown the truth. The third song on this CD is called Times Like These. This rather level-headed rock song is from the One by One album that came out in October 2002. And the song itself got to number 12 of the UK Top 40 in 2003. A new version of this song, which featured Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins, along with many newer artists, was recorded in April 2020 as a response to the COVID pandemic. This big BBC Radio 1 Live Lounge session actually managed to top the UK charts during the first lockdown. So anyway, Dave Grohl wrote the song while the Foo Fighters were on a small break, and in the meantime, he was doing drumming for the band Queens of the Stone Age. The early recording sessions for the One by One album were not going well at all, and that is why the band took a little break. So Dave Grohl really wasn't feeling himself, and was even unsure at that point about whether to remain with the band or disband it and start something new. So the song is all about that time when the band disappeared for a few months and Dave Grohl wasn't feeling himself. The fourth song on this CD is simply titled Rope, and it's from the Wasting Light album that came out in April 2011. The song got to number 22 in the UK charts in 2011, and I think it might have been the last Foo Fighters song to make the UK Top 40 actually. Both the song itself and the music video were recorded in old-fashioned ways, so no digital equipment was involved in the recording of the album, and the music video was shot in VHS. There is a lot of great musicianship in this song, great use of delay, not to mention the drumming and the guitar solo, which I assume was done by Chris Shiflett. The song is about a relationship that the narrator needs to stay alive and basically not being able to live without that person. The fifth song on this CD is called Monkey Wrench. Like the opening track on this CD, Everlong, Monkey Wrench is off 1997's The Colour and the Shape album and is also in drop D tuning. This rather high energy, high octane song is about Dave Grohl's first marriage ending and not wanting to be someone who can be manipulated. One thing that this song is known for is the vocal bridge, which Dave Grohl managed to scream all in one breath. So when it comes to performing this song live, a lot of the time the crowd usually has to sing that part. Last thing I can say about this song is that it got to number 12 in the UK charts in 1997. For the sixth song on this CD, we are staying on the Colour and the Shape album, and it's the song called My Hero. Now, a lot of people think that this rather intense and anthemic song was written about Kurt Cobain, but actually it was written about the common man. The song is all about the fact that you don't have to be rich and successful, or even have superpowers to do something amazing and heroic. The common everyday person can have the courage to help those who desperately need it, and even have the courage to keep going, even when they have nothing left. This song got to number 21 in the UK charts in 1998, and while there have been many great live performances of this song, both electric and acoustic, the most iconic one has to be from the first Taylor Hawkins tribute concert, with Taylor's teenage son, Shane Hawkins, playing the drums on what is quite the emotional performance. The seventh song on this CD is called Cold Day in the Sun. With this song, it involves Taylor Hawkins and Dave Grohl swapping roles, as Taylor sings the song while Dave plays drums. This song was a double A-side alongside the song No Way Back, and is off the In Your Honor album, which came out in June 2005. This rather nice and classic sounding song, which actually goes back to 2001, does have an alternative country or Southern California vibe to it. Track number 8 is the song called Big Me. Not only is this song the shortest song of this CD, being under 2¼ minutes long, it's also one of the oldest songs of this CD, coming from the Foo Fighters' self-titled debut album, which came out in February 1996. This rather soft and easy listening ballad was a song that Dave Grohl wrote about his first wife, and it reached number 19 in the UK charts in 1996. Track number 9 is the song called Long Road to Ruin. This is the first song on this CD we hear. That's from the Echoes, Silence, Patience and Grace album, which came out in September 2007. This classic sounding song is about change and having to start over, and it did make the UK Top 40 in late 2007. For track 10, we go back to the Medicine at Midnight album for the song called Shame, Shame. This is a rather experimental sounding song from the Foo Fighters, and the musicianship from the rest of the band do kind of overpower the vocals. And this rather funky psychedelic song isn't the best song on this CD, I must admit.